This guy right here is a washed up, disgusting loser, and I'm actually allowed to say all that because maybe you noticed it already, he kind of looks similar to me, and that's because that actually was me around 6 to 7 years ago. Kind of hard to believe today, but if you give me just a couple of minutes of your time, it might actually impact your life in a pretty big way, especially if you're at a point right now where you're not completely happy, satisfied or fulfilled with your life. So today I'm celebrating 6 years of sobriety. But back then, when this photo was taken, it was pretty much the height of my party days. At that point, I was playing for quite a successful band in my home country. That's where the gold and platinum records behind me are actually from. And it was at a time where the band kind of took off. So the parties were absolutely crazy and there was always a reason to celebrate and to go wild. Like when a single hit #1, we're playing the biggest show ever next week, we're going on tour in a month. And especially on tour, when you're playing show after show after show, there's an obvious reason to celebrate every single night if the show went well, or even if it didn't go well, even more of a reason to get drunk. And on tour in a travel party of over 30 people, there's always at least one guy that will join you when it comes to partying, and when you're having a hard time saying no, you will find yourself on a non-stop party that lasts from the start of the tour to the end of a tour. And when you get home from a tour like that and all the adrenaline fades away, things get really ugly. But what I really want to get into right now is why I quit, the different steps and things that it changed in my life, and what I maybe should have done differently with all this. So number one, why did I quit? It's relatively simple. I was very unhappy with my life. I felt very unhealthy in my body and I was ashamed to go to the doctor for checkups. I couldn't even run around on stage properly. I remember playing a metal show at one point around this time, and a couple songs in I almost passed out because I started headbanging like in the old days when I was a bit younger, and my body simply couldn't handle that because I was so out of shape and unhealthy. And it also almost ruined the relationship that I have with the love of my life, who is now my wife. She often had to pick me up from the train station or airport after a longer tour and was visibly and rightfully shocked at what she saw. So that's not even everything, but it's a pretty long list of cons, and I'm struggling really hard with coming up about anything positive for the other side. Of course you have some stories, legendary nights and all that, but it's all really not worth destroying your body and your relationships through that. And I also wasn't making the progress that I wanted to make with my guitar playing because I couldn't really keep a practice routine going whenever I wanted to practice in the morning, but then headed out to have a couple of drinks, which were never just a couple of drinks. Of course, I was completely destroyed the next day, so I didn't practice. It took me ages to get out of bed. So that might have been one of my absolute biggest motivations to quit. Sure, I was a session guitar player in this band. I was playing big shows. I was making a living just playing music. But let's face it, it wasn't even my band. I was a hired gun. If they would have switched me out a couple of years ago, I don't know if anyone would really know this. So although I was partying, trying to have a good time, trying to convince myself that I've made it, I'm living the life and all that, I knew deep inside that it's definitely not true because I haven't accomplished anything relevant of my own yet. So right on this day, 6 years ago, I made the decision to immediately stop drinking and all of those crazy party activities. So no period of I'll just have one drink or I will just go out on Saturday. I drew a hard, straight line and didn't touch any of that stuff. I came up with a daily practice system and routine that I often talked about on this channel already. So since I didn't go out and party anymore, it was very easy to wake up for me at 4:30 in the morning every day. And there were essentially those two paths ahead of me. Option one, don't change anything, just keep going and end up dead in a couple of years, and I'm 100% serious about that. I might not be here today if I kept going in that direction. Or option B, change everything completely, flip it on its head and possibly have an actual career and find happiness in my life. Since you're watching this video now, it's not a big spoiler, I chose this path. So the effects on my life were I felt much healthier right away. I was much more focused. I think all of us know the feeling of waking up with a bad hangover versus waking up with 7 or 8 hours of sleep and a clear mind, and it gives you such a huge advantage in life. It's crazy. The relationship with my wife is the best it's ever been. We both love each other so much, it's literally crazy, and we spend every single minute together aside from when I'm in here making my music or videos like this. So literally only positive effects in my life so far when it comes to all this. The only thing I would have done differently, I kind of cut off all contacts at the start with people I used to go out and drink drink with, because I felt like everyone's a bad influence on me. So I kind of became a hermit for the first couple of years, because I was kind of afraid of going out and meeting in bars, for example, because that's not the best environment when you actually stopped with all this stuff. But after a couple of years, I realized that there's basically no temptation to go back, because I finally, for the first time in my life, felt like I was actually on a path and on a mission, and it's just not worth derailing all that for no reason at all. So if you're planning on giving this a try yourself, maybe don't become a hermit like me in the first couple of years. I don't want to be overly preachy, and I'm sorry if I came across this way throughout the video. I just get excited talking about stuff that had a huge positive impact on my life. That's why I started this YouTube channel in the first place, when I was still talking about my guitar technique and stuff that I changed that got me better results. I was just genuinely excited to share this with people to hopefully help them. And it's the same with this video. So even if you don't plan on becoming fully sober, just having a couple of weeks or a month of not drinking at all will really have a positive effect on your health and also on your mind and productivity. The way that I did it psychologically is also the same way I quit smoking some years before that. What never works for me personally is kind of that incremental decrease until you completely stop. So I've seen some people trying to make rules like no drinking on Monday, on Tuesday or Wednesday. So the one tip I can give you is just quitting cold turkey, just saying one day that's enough. I'm not on a great path when it comes to my career, my relationships. If you feel like you need to make a change, just do it. Don't do the step-by-step stuff. For me and most people that I know, that did not work out very well. And in order to stay on track, one super cool mental hack that I found was analyzing what people do that I really look up to. And it turned out all of them are very hard workers. They all accomplished incredible things. They all also looked very happy, and they did not have that persona of partying, going out, getting drunk and all that. And everyone that I met at these parties, the people that actually stayed up with me the whole night or the whole morning as well, we never really talked about changing the world, about interesting new ideas, or just anything really that's inspirational. It was all just complete nonsense, and I didn't really look up to anyone I was out partying with. So if you have big goals in life, I think they will be hard to reach if you follow a very destructive lifestyle. And the few successful people that I met that do all of this crazy stuff might have somewhat of a career going, but their personal lives are insanely chaotic. And despite their success, so what you might see on stage, for example, they are not happy people. So to quickly sum this up, if you're thinking about it, today is the day. Just give it a try. It might literally save you years of your life and just make you a happier person overall. And to celebrate all this, I just released a brand new track, actually a remix of one of my most popular tracks called Farewell. I recently got a lot into Nordic sounding music, so if you're into the Viking mythology or TV shows or video games surrounding that topic, I think you're gonna enjoy it a lot. I left the link for you down below. And if you're possibly also saying farewell to a bad version of yourself today to go for a better one in the future, let this new track guide you on your journey and give it a listen whenever you feel like it's not possible and you're struggling. I believe in you. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that I could help you with this video.